Welcome everybody to another virtual event presented to you by the Mesquite Arts Council. I'm your host and instructor, Erica Guajardo, and today we're going to be creating our very own mum. What is a mum, you ask? Well, for many years, if you were making a mum for homecoming, this was a Texas tradition. But now in contemporary days, we make mums for all sorts of things, from baby showers to graduations. So, I'm going to teach you some techniques that you may be able to utilize while creating things like this. Also, some of these items, such as the braid, is great when you're creating wreaths. So, if you're ready to learn a little something, I'm ready to teach you. When you first start to make your mum, you're going to actually need to create 2 circle pieces made out of cardstock. These can be bought at any craft store during homecoming season, but we were having a hard time accessing these, so we're just going to create our own. The easiest way to create this is grabbing your ribbon holder and placing it down. Tracing it twice. One of these needs to have a circle in the middle so that the mum can actually lay inside of it. I like to have these a little bit larger than the actual ribbon holder. So what I'm going to do is draw about an inch out. And these don't have to be perfectly round. If you're worried about that, you won't really be able to see this part. It's just a structure to help hold everything together. So now you have your 2 pieces. After this, you will cut your circles out. This one will actually be used as the back of your mum. You will staple your ribbons to this one. This is going to be used as your front of your mum, and it'll hold the actual mum in place along with the ribbons around it. So we're going to start with this one first. The next step to making our mum has optional areas. You want to select 3 different sizes of ribbon. It's also going to help if there are 3 different colors and textures. I have a black satin, a white satin ribbon, and a gold glitter. Now, when selecting the 3 different sizes, you kind of want to make sure that they all kind of fit within each other because we're going to layer these. Let me show you how. So what we're going to do is actually cut 3 separate pieces, about 6 inches long, and we're going to layer them so that the largest ribbon is in the back, the medium is in the middle, and the smallest is in the front. Once we've done that, we need to make a choice if we're going to have a pointed edge or a rounded edge. In some mums, they actually have rounded edges all the way around. Some have pointed edges all the way around, and some have both. For this particular one, so that I show you both, we're going to have both, a rounded and a pointed. So what you want to do is grab your 3 ribbons together and then fold them in half together and then slide them in between your piece of paper, and with your stapler, staple them. This will keep them in place and kind of straight. The next step we're going to do is actually make these rounded edges all the way around, trying to keep them as straight as possible and symmetrical. And what you'll see is that there'll be a little gap in between each of them, and that's where we'll put our next layer. If you're having trouble getting all of them to be perfectly straight and they're moving around too much, a good little tip is that you can pre-cut all of these, then grab your hot glue gun, just put a tiny little dot on each end, place them into place, place the ribbons where you would like them to sit. And then glue. This may be easier for you to keep everything straight. What you may notice is that we actually created 8 loops to staple around our circle. Now we're going to create 8 more pointed versions of these. You're going to do the exact same process, but we're going to fold a little different. Let me show you how. Once again, we're going to layer our ribbons accordingly. And instead of actually folding them in half, we're going to fold them in a circle, kind of like this. So we just open it up and then fold it. And sometimes the glue that's kind of peekabooing out of your ribbon will help keep it together. When we flip it around, you'll get this nice little point. And depending how tight you folded your ribbon will be how tight your point is. Once we have it, we're going to place the point in between the two. Then staple again. The next step is to incorporate the actual mum. So I have this mum. It's pretty long, as you can see. And what we want to do is remove the stem. So flip it over to the back and pull on the stem, and it should release. From there, like I mentioned, we need the little hole. You should be able to place your mum in the center and still have your ribbon showing. In order to actually get it from here to here, we need to fill this area with hot glue. Be careful, because this is a moment where you can burn yourself. As you can see, I actually put plenty of hot glue on the back of my petal. Once it's there, you want to place it, and you should be able to feel the heat through the paper. Try not to touch the glue directly, because it will burn. Let it dry, and the next step will be to decorate. Now, in traditional mums, they usually had a bear or a boot right in the center. We're going to go a little bit more contemporary. Our theme for our mum is senior, but you could make mums for any occasion, not just homecoming. Some great themes could be baby showers, Halloween, birthdays, and any special occasion. So let's get creative and let's make this senior themed mum special. Let me show you how. So we are going to currently decorate the centerpiece of our mum with pop-out stickers. These are 3D stickers that have a puppet-like quality to them. And we're going to use these instead of using traditional homecoming trinkets. If you do want to use traditional homecoming trinkets, you could easily find these online through Etsy, in your store at any hobby shop like Michael's or Hobby Lobby during the homecoming season. What's great is that if you're looking for these type of trinkets in your specific location of hobby store, they should have your school colors available for purchase. But since we're getting a little creative, we're going to make our own, and we're going to make sure we're going to get a little creative, and we're going to make sure that our mum looks the best it could be. So I used a smiley face pop-out sticker, and then I'm going to glue these graduation stickers to it so that it becomes one. We're going to look at our mum, and we're going to find the best area that we think looks best for it to be the top. Then gently press this guy down. We haven't glued him yet. We're just kind of playing placements right now. We also have to incorporate the senior sign, and what I like to do is actually incorporate it at an angle towards the top, and then have the piece down below hanging. You can secure these with a little bit of hot glue once you've found the proper placement. As those who have worn mums before, in the Texas tradition, you might understand that mums could be very heavy because they have so much decor on them. One of the things that you want to make sure you have that will really make your centerpiece of your mum special are real eye-catching decor. So we're going to incorporate some fun glittery fireworks into our mum. And these are considered picks. We actually got them in the Christmas section of our hobby store. And we just kind of threaded them in, and then we'll secure them with a little bit of hot glue that will be hidden underneath. And this is going to be the centerpiece of our mum. Now the next part is laying out the actual ribbons. For those of you who are experts at putting mums together but are just looking to elevate your design, a great thing to incorporate is a braid. This braid is actually found in a lot of macrame arts, and I learned how to make this type of knot or braid when I was a young child that was learning how to create lanyards. It's fairly easy, and I'm about to show you it. What you will need are 2 ribbons that are about the same size and in thickness and are 2 different colors. They could be solid or they could be pattern, or one of each. The easiest way to start this braid is to come about 6 inches or less, about 6 inches or so, and then tie a knot into these. This area is going to be used to tuck it inside of the mum. This area is going to be used to create the braid. Now, you want to make 1 loop. All I'm doing is folding it and making a loop. Now with the other, you want to wrap it once around. It looks like this. Then you want to make a loop and place it inside. Gently pulling it. Once you have done that, once you've done that, you want to do it on the other side and continue this process until you have a braid of length that you think is decent for your mom. Now when making the skin braid, you want to make sure that when you glue it in, that you understand that there is a front and a back to this braid. This is the front, this is the back. It looks slightly flatter on the back and more rounded on the front. Also, when you use a printed ribbon, you might also notice that you got one side that is printed and one side that is solid, giving it a trifecta color with just 2 ribbons. This braid is great when you incorporate it towards the front of the layering inside of your mum. Let me show you how. We are nearing the end, and the last part of creating a mum is laying out the ribbons that we're going to hang from the centerpiece. What I'm going to do is lay out the ribbons first so that I know what ribbons I want to incorporate into my mum. Once we have that, we want to incorporate 2 ribbons, and then on top of those we will incorporate the class of 2020, even though it's class of 2021. And then these will go on the sides. And this special braid we just created will go towards the middle. So now that we have a layout plan, let's actually lay them out onto our sheet of paper. So here's our sheet of paper. What we're actually going to do is put our gold and white ribbons on top and our black and white ribbons on top, and then staple them first. Another option is to glue them on. This is what your mom should look like. It should be pretty long and be somewhat uneven at the bottom because all of these were almost the same size, but not all the way the same. Towards the bend, when you get towards the bottom, what you want to do is trim. To make a finished look of each ribbon, you want to fold it in half and then cut into a V shape. This will give it a more tailored and finished look. While doing this, you could also measure to make sure that all your pieces are the same length. The next step is to consider placing some glittery stickers with the person's name on the front or the school, and then we're going to glue the homecoming mom centerpiece to this. An optional thing is to cut one more piece of white circle paper, and when everything is completed, put it to the back. This will cover up all the staples and make sure that you don't have any snags. Before gluing you finish, make sure to grab a scrap piece of ribbon and adhere it to the back with some glue and make a little loop. This is going to be used for easy hanging. You could add any finishing touches at this time, which will probably add a diploma here and there. These little trinkets are a great way to really give that personal touch.
Wow, that was fun. And I really enjoyed doing that because I haven't created a mom since I was in high school. I used to utilize these techniques that I just taught you to kind of make extra money. Instead of paying a large corporation hundreds of dollars just to create something for me, I actually created something for myself plus my friends. So, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and make sure that you stop by for our Tote and Go programs, which are on Mondays at 10 o'clock, and the facility is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So until we see each other again, stay cool.